Hey everyone, Rarity Dash here, time for another blind commentary. And today I'm reacting to Magpiepony's latest Pinkie Tales, Egghead and the Beast. And yeah, that title makes it clear that this time we're doing Beauty and the Beast, which is really cool. I love the Disney film, the original one, not the new one that just came out. Haven't seen that yet, though maybe that's good as well. I don't know. I've heard some good things about it, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I do like the original Disney film. I think it's really cool. I think it's one of the better Disney films, in fact, and just overall enjoyable. As for doing it with Pony, well, that should be pretty fun. The title makes it clear that for Belle, we're going with Twilight, which makes sense. They both like books, and I guess that's really all you need. And the question that remains is, who is the Beast? If it's one of the main six, I think I would like it to be Fluttershy, just because that would be hilarious, and also kind of fitting in a weird way. But I would think more that it's probably going to be maybe one of the reformed villains. Probably not Discord, but maybe like Sunset or Starlight, just because it'd be an opportunity to use them. Though I guess we'll see. Maybe even Luna. I mean, Nightmare Moon. Yeah, but yeah, whatever the case, I'm eager to see that. I'm eager to see who the Beast is and who the other characters are. I'm guessing Gaston, Rainbow Dash, just because that's too perfect not to go with that. And all the other characters, it should be interesting. I'm sure Rarity will be one of the, like, the teacup or the candle or whatever. Forgetting the names right now. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Really enjoy the other Pinkie Tales, so I'm eager to see how this one is. Let's get started and find out. Okay. And here we go. Pinkie Tales.
Egghead and the Beast.
Got that pretty well timed.
Tonight's story is a classic Mountain Pumpkin. It's all about a terrifying beast, strange castle objects, and a mayor who's slightly socially awkward.
But just slightly.
Once upon a time.
And narrator.
Before the reign
And
of the two
friends.
Alicorn sisters, there was a small village in the kingdom of Prance.
Or Prance.
Intelligent,
My apologies.
and slightly odd Alicorn named Sparkle lived
And
in
she's
the
already an
village on her
Alicorn.
own.
I'm kind of surprised
She
about
was
that.
fascinated by the spells
I mean,
and history she
Belle
found in books.
doesn't become a
and chose
princess
to
until the
spend her
end.
days reading rather than socializing.
More of a humble background.
Unfortunately, this caused Sparkle to become introverted and awkward around other ponies. Though
Would have been
many
a good
ponies
excuse
attempted
for
to
a unicorn
include her in
Twilight.
daily village life, Sparkle's attention was always focused on her studies. Eventually, every pony left Sparkle alone to do as she pleased. Every pony, with the exception
Sparkle.
of Dashton.
And of course,
was the
I
village's
called it.
hero and most sought
Though, I
after
mean,
stallion.
it's pretty obvious.
He dominated the sky.
Who else are you
breaking
gonna cast
weather
in
and
this
speed
part?
records as if they were foals play. He was handsome, strong,
And for
charismatic, and available.
The lackey LeFou, I
Every
think.
mare in the village dreamed
gonna be
of becoming
Scootaloo.
his mare friend, but Dashton's sights were set on the one who didn't clamour for his attention, Sparkle. One afternoon, Dashton and his faithful assistant Scootaloo had just finished. Hang on, did I read that right? Is it really just Scootaloo?
Yeah, that's kind of
The other story,
uncreative.
The short, stubby little human that followed the honksicle around was called LeFou, so it's totally perfect.
Could have gone with
Scootaloo
Scootaloo.
and LeFou. I love rhymes.
But don't you usually change the name? Isn't that a little distracting?
This time it has a silent U at the
Why
end.
don't you try to come up with something better? Do you know how hard it was to make a pun
Instead
out
of
of
two
Maud's name in the
O's,
last one?
Scootaloo.
How am I supposed to make something funny out of LeFou? It's in like France-Canese or something.
Wow.
Okay, first of all, it's called French. Let's not start off the story by offending part of the world's population. How about we call her... Scootaroo. Roo is French and can be used as a surname.
That's one of the silly nicknames Dashy and I use all the time. You know, like I'm Punkapoo, and then there's Yellow
Punkapoo.
Quiet, White Perfect, Breakfast Cereal.
What?
I mean, yeah, let's do that.
I like White Perfect. Seems accurate.
Whoa, that was amazing, Dashton.
Dashton's faithful assistant Scooteroo
Dashton.
called as Dashton landed with a resounding boom. He had instructed Scooteroo to time his cloud clearing, hoping once again to break his own speed record.
How long?
Dashton asked, picking the cloud debris from his wings mindlessly.
Oh, you were amazing, as always. No pony can clear the sky like you can, Dashton.
How long?
10 seconds flat?
Dashton said again impatiently. Scooteroo gulped nervously before replying,
10.3 seconds.
Oh.
What? Let me see
Not
that
quite
timer.
there.
Dashton growled, swiping
You
the
messed
little
up,
device from
Dashton.
Scooteroo's hoof.
It's still record-breaking.
Yeah, maybe last year when I actually broke it. I promised my fans I'd break 10 seconds this year, and I will not disappoint them. Are you sure this thing is working?
Look, it's him, Dashton.
Okay, and we got
Isn't he dreamy?
Three
all
yellow
sorts of
Pegasi with long, soft
Fluttershies.
called from a distance,
Why?
crowding around Dashton and fawning over
Why
him.
does it have to be
Scooteroo
Fluttershies?
quickly moved away
So I
to
kind of
avoid
approve
being
because
trampled.
this isn't going anywhere.
Ladies, there's plenty of Dashton to go around. I know. I'm the best. I can't help it. I guess I was just born to be awesome.
As his over-exuberant fans swarmed him, Dashton caught a glimpse of Sparkle from the corner of his eye.
Sorry, Phillies. Gotta dash.
Dashton said with a wink, flying away and leaving 3 sad mares behind.
Aww. There he goes again, hanging around that mare instead of us. She's pretty, but she's kinda shy, don't you think?
What's she
Yeah.
got that we haven't
What?
got?
What's with that one's voice?
Personality.
Scooteroo muttered under his breath.
Huh? Nothing.
Hey there. Couldn't help but notice you strolling along the street all alone. Figured you could use some company.
Dashton said, cozying up to Sparkle as they walked down the street.
Hello, Dashton.
You know, it's not very mare-like to walk around with those things all the time.
You mean books?
You do know that ponies are calling you an egghead, right?
A what? Who calls me an egghead?
It's kind of a weird
I
insult.
do. Look, it's just
Yeah.
not right for a mare who looks like you to be so booky and eggheady, you know?
I don't think bookie and eggheady are words. And what do you mean, a mare who looks like me?
It's a compliment. It means you're too pretty to be burying your face in one of these all the time. You should come around town with me. I could show you some of my record-breaking trophies.
Dashton, there's no such thing as being too pretty or too ugly to be intelligent. Also, I happen to think the most appealing ponies are the ones who don't flaunt their accomplishments. Instead, they should let their work speak for itself.
You
Yeah?
do have some pretty great work.
What do you know of my work?
Duh. You're like the most powerful unicorn in
Technically, I'm an alicorn.
Whatever. You raised the sun and the
Please
moon
stop.
practically on your own. That's pretty impressive. And
Love that
it's
detail.
kind of mare that I want on my right wing.
You have dozens of other mares who would give anything to be your mare friend. Why me?
But they're all Fluttershy,
Because you're
so
a challenge.
it just doesn't
and I
work.
never back down from a challenge. Not to mention, underneath all that eggheadiness, you're a really pretty mare, you know.
I am not an egghead.
So I'm gonna do you a big favor and take you out tonight. If you're seen around the village with me, that egghead thing will be a thing of the past. No, you don't have to say anything. I already know your answer. I'll be by at 7 o'clock to pick you up. There's no way you're not gonna love what I have planned.
Dashton said, zooming away.
That's a double negative!
The thought of an evening spent with Dashton and all his braggery was too traumatizing for Sparkle to fathom. She decided it would be a better idea to take her books and study somewhere far away where the Pegasus could not find her. There was only one place she could think of where the village ponies dared not venture. The enchanted forest.
The Enchanted
Sparkle
Forest.
ignored the warnings and rumors that the forest was indeed cursed and dangerous, choosing to believe that a night with Dashton would be far worse.
Seems a bit
She
extreme,
wandered
but
the
okay.
narrow forest paths, looking for a clearing to study in peace. But hours passed, and Sparkle conceded to the fact
I mean, I
that
guess
she
if it's
was
anything like
indeed
the Everfree
lost.
Forest,
To
then
make matters worse,
not
she
much to
finally
worry about.
understood why the forest was deemed enchanted, as the magic of her horn failed to produce any spells.
Oh.
Powerless, hungry, and exhausted, Sparkle
I guess that
gave up
could
the
result
search
in
with a
some
path
plot holes, so
home
gotta
and
take
sought
care
out
of that.
a safe place to spend the cold night instead. When hope was dismal, Sparkle spied an old iron gate with a path that led to a mighty castle hidden in the heart of the forest. She was relieved, pushed open the gate, and ran up the front steps of the castle.
Hello? Is any pony there? Please, I only seek shelter for the night. Thank you. I don't mean to be a bother.
Sparkle started, but paused when she realized she was all alone. The only indication that some pony had unlocked the door
That's
for
some
her
really
was
pretty
the
art
light
in
of
this
a
one.
strange-looking candle with a pony face carved into the candlestick. Sparkle tilted her head and reached her hoof out towards it when the candle began to move.
A Pinkie or?
Well, hi there.
Oh,
It's been a long
she's
time
Sandwich.
since I've seen your kind around here.
The candlestick said, talking from the pony face.
Interesting choice.
Sparkle screamed in surprise and leapt up into the air before crashing back down to the ground on her flank.
Way to go, Flame Witch. Not 2 seconds into the castle and you've already given our guest
Is that
PTSD.
no whacking?
Sparkle sharply turned her head around to see an old gramophone playing a record. The voice she heard had come from the gramophone horn, but as the record spun, no other sound could be heard. Sparkle's ears perked up when she heard the candlestick hopping over to the gramophone on its own, smiling as if nothing were amiss.
Who are you?
I think the better
It's
question
final.
is, what are we? We haven't been a who in a long time.
We're the staff of the castle.
Cursed along with its master until our impending doom traps us as inanimate objects forever.
Wow.
You're not interested in all that. Follow me. You must be freezing.
Take me with you. This is gonna end up a disaster.
Oh, and I see the face on it now.
Absolutely want to watch it happen.
Flamewitch rolled his eyes and lifted the needle on the record with one of his candles. He picked
Oh,
up
and
the record
she's just
itself
the record.
and hopped along one of the castle hallways.
Not the
You
gramophone.
coming?
He called to Sparkle. She nodded and walked cautiously after him. Eventually, the candle paused in front of a small study where a comfortable chair waited in front of a fireplace.
Hang on, let me get that for you.
The candle said enthusiastically, using the flame on one of his candles to ignite the fireplace. He then placed the record onto a second gramophone in the corner of the room, adjusting the needle accordingly.
Make way, make way! I simply must see this for myself!
The
Not
third
sure
voice
anyone
called,
needs
followed
2
by the
gramophones.
sound of
And there we go.
children
Yeah,
down
the
hallway.
pot.
Soon after, a decorated
Mrs.
little
Potts,
teapot entered the room.
I
And
believe.
it too had a strange pony-like
And the
face that beamed excitedly at the sight of
Teacup,
Sparkle.
Sweetie Belle.
It's true!
Makes sense.
There is a pony in the castle! Oh, how terribly exciting! Are you here to break our curse?
A small voice called from behind the teapot. It was a little cup that appeared to be another piece of the tea set. The pair of them hopped onto a side table to get a better look at the pony guest.
Those are adorable.
Sparkle watched them in fascinated silence.
Are you cursed too? Sweetener Belle! It's impolite to ask
Wow.
ponies if they're
Sweetener.
cursed. But she's an allegory!
Hilarious.
She even looks like a Mary Sue!
Wow.
Do forgive my little sister. She has quite the imagination since being turned into
If I
dumpling
had
china. My name is
a
Rarity
teacup
Pot.
like that, I totally
Don't
drink
be
out of
frightened,
it.
darling. We won't hurt you.
Afraid? I'm not afraid. I'm fascinated.
And was it
How
Rarity
did you all
Pot?
get
That's
cursed
great.
like this? Who are you? What's this castle doing in the middle of the forest? And why isn't it in any of our history books?
What in tarnation is going on in here?
Another new object set from the doorway. It was a clock, decorated with apple accents and a swinging apple pendulum.
Barely
What's
looks like
she doing
Applejack.
here?
Flame Witch let her in.
And you just let him? You're supposed to guard the door.
It was exciting and I'm bored. What'd you expect?
Well, she's the first pony we've seen in decades, and she looked like she needed help. Besides, now we have a reason to celebrate. She's come to break the curse.
Sparkle opened her mouth to
Oh, got some
respond, but
animation.
hesitated when she heard mighty hoofsteps approaching from down the hallway. The objects in the room turned
Wow.
their attention to the doorway, smiling, with the exception of Sparkle and Apple Clock. A mysterious pony approached, staying hidden in shadow, with the exception of his bright
Oh.
green glowing eyes.
Who
Aw.
are you? What are you doing in my castle?
I'm Sparkle. I got lost in the woods and just needed a warm place to stay the night.
I see.
The pony said simply, taking a step inside the room and into the light. The sight Sparkle beheld was too fascinating and terrifying for her to comprehend. The pony before her was not an inanimate object like the other castle members she had seen. He was a tall, black-coated alicorn with piercing red stripes on his coat and mane. Atop his head were 3 horns, 2 on either side of his head, along with a broken unicorn horn. He had cleft hooves and what appeared to be an orange flame pattern on his legs under his red stripes. His eyes glowed with a trail of purple smoke around them, and he had
I thought it was like Sombra for a second, but this... I'm okay with this.
What is going on?
Because it's hilarious.
What is going on? Look at him. He's...
An alicorn representing the beast.
No, I mean, yes, but look at him. He's an abomination.
Yeah, it's great.
Bat wings and a weird celestial-looking necklace thing with a heart-shaped gemstone. What crazy twisted thing?
Well, these are Pinkie Tales, aren't they? So, didn't you come up with his design?
Me? You think I had something to do with this whatever he is? It wasn't me. I thought he was going to be a manticore or something. But this? Oh, sweet Celestia, hide me!
Are you afraid of him, Pinkie?
Of course I'm afraid of him!
I am too.
I think I gave my part to cheese sandwich. I was supposed to be the candle, but I just can't.
I guess that explains it.
He's going to shoot rainbow sparkle flame power at me and I'll be sent to another dimension. I just know it. Do you know how much power bronies give terrible OCs?
Wow.
They're undefeatable. Pinkie will stay far, far away from him.
You're overreacting.
I can't hear you. I'm far, far away. Please turn the page.
Fine.
Oh, come on. He's on this page, too. There's no escape, I tell you. No escape!
Don't be afraid, darling. This is our beloved prince, and the victim of a cruel and unjustifiable curse.
No, not a prince. I am a beast. I don't deserve your praise, Madam Teapot.
Were
Wow.
you cursed to be this way?
No, my appearance did not change when I was cursed.
Oh.
But I fear that
So
my
he's
curse
just
may
gonna
be
stay
the
this way.
worst of them all. I am merely not permitted to leave my own castle and spread my vast and unending magical power with the pony world. You see, before I
was gonna
cursed,
ask who's he
I had
gonna turn
studied
into
every
at the
book on
end,
magic
but-
that had never been written, and I had discovered a way to cure cancer and hunger and create everlasting world peace.
Oh, brother.
But
Wow.
now I am stuck here, and my magic is powerless against this curse. I am doomed to never be able to help other ponies and be their prince.
Oh, that's terrible.
Is Twilight really gonna fall for this guy?
Magic, you say?
Yes, I have them all in my castle library, and yet I fear that none of them can help us. I have scored them for answers, but I fear my staff and I are doomed forever.
Maybe I can break your curse. For some strange reason, I feel compelled to save you.
You? What makes you so sure you can save us?
She's a Mary Sue.
The alicorn took a second look at Sparkle and noticed that she was indeed an alicorn too.
Does your alicorn magic work in my castle?
Well, no. But if your magic still works, maybe I can find the right spell and you can cast it.
You are welcome to try, but I must ask you to stay away from the west wing of the castle. That's where I like to go to be brooding and mysterious.
Wow.
My candlestick and clock will show you to the library, little filly.
You can call me Sparkle.
And you can call me a beast, for that is what I am. Now, I will dramatically exit and leave you to your impossible task without helping you, even though clearly I have the magic to do so.
The prince said, igniting his broken horn with magic and disappearing from the room.
Here we are, darling.
Rarity Pot said, helping Flame Witch open the double doors
I thought
that
that's
led
what
to
it
the
was.
vast castle library.
Rare teapot.
Beautiful! I think I might cry. You must have hundreds, no, thousands of books here. There's so much knowledge to take in. How can you possibly stand it?
Well, to be honest, half of us can't hold a book or turn pages now that we're objects, and the other half don't like to read. I'd say I'm a little bit of both myself.
So,
Why does he have sort of a weird accent?
I need
Doesn't
to
really
know
sound
what
like
the
cheese
curse
sandwich
is
because of that.
before I can know how to undo it.
It's written on an enchanted scroll.
Vinyl said, from a new gramophone conveniently placed in the library.
How many gramophones?
Things do we
Yeah!
And the better question is, why aren't they enchanted too? There's another plot hole.
Wait, you know that we're, in a story?
Why, of course I do. I'm a male ripoff of Pinkie Pie, so I basically can do whatever she can. Don't know why you'll fall for breaking, though. Maybe it's because you're like her 23rd cousin 3 times removed. It's a recessive trait.
How can I get that scroll?
Unfortunately, you can't. It's in the West Wing, and you're not allowed to go in there.
But then, how am I going to be able to break it if I don't even know what it says?
I believe there is a book in here somewhere that has a copy of what's written on there. The prince is a deep and sensitive pony, so naturally he keeps a diary.
Maybe we can just borrow it when the prince isn't looking.
And risk upsetting the prince? Sweetener Belle, you know better than that. The poor dear is
That's
going
still the
through
best
enough
name.
as it is.
All right, let's look for the diary. Would you all be so kind as to help me search?
Sure thing, Sparkle.
Flame Witch said with a smile, hopping into the library enthusiastically.
Now hang on there, Flame Witch. You're a candle, and candles don't mix well with paper.
You're overthinking
No,
things,
generally
Apple
not.
Clock. I can. Oh, wait. Yeah, it's on fire. Rare Pot, can you,
I'm coming.
Rarity Pot said, hopping after Flame Witch to dose the fire with her tea. Sparkle giggled and began combing the bookshelves for the diary. Hours passed with no success for Sparkle and the castle objects. They weren't a very productive search party, as Flame Witch couldn't touch any books, Rarity Pot was afraid of spilling her tea on them, and Vinyl couldn't move at all.
It's better than not speaking, Hasbro.
And Sparkle
Wow.
frequently got sidetracked, organizing the books by category and then alphabetizing them. Eventually, Sweetener Belle decided it was time to take matters into her own hooves, so to speak, and slipped away from the library when no pony was
Not
looking.
a lot of
She hopped
actual
along
hooves
the
on
castle
Sweetener
corridors
Belle.
until she reached the West Wing. Being as quiet as she was able, Sweetener Belle was able to enter the prince's room unnoticed. Once she was inside, she spied the prince laying dramatically on his bed. The diary that the other was searching for wasn't in the library at all, but instead hovering next to him,
That
while
design.
his magic jotted down his thoughts. For some reason, the prince felt compelled to speak his entry aloud, which provided the perfect cover for Sweetener Belle to hop towards the enchanted scroll undetected.
Just why?
Dear diary, a beautiful mare entered the castle today, wanting to help me. I don't understand why she would ever want to help a strong, handsome, and overpowered stallion such as myself. I'm far too broken inside to be saved.
I don't understand it
These
either.
feelings remind me of when I was an infant, and my parents, King Sombra and Nightmare Moon, abandoned me, and the years I spent on the streets, being ridiculed by my peers because I was so different. Or that one time my horn was broken when I saved those sick orphans from the burning hospital. Oh, this is good stuff.
Sweetener Belle used the handle on her teacup to grasp onto the scroll and hopped back toward the door quietly. She hurried toward the library while the prince continued explaining his tragic backstory to himself.
Sparkle! I got it!
Where did you find that?
It's a long over-exaggerated story. Come on, let's read it.
Sparkle smiled, choosing not to question the little teacup. She unrolled the scroll and squinted her eyes, finding it difficult to read the faded ink.
What
Yeah,
costs
that is
nothing
kinda
but
difficult
is
to read.
worth everything? Weighs nothing but can last a lifetime. That one pony can't own, but two ponies can share? It's something you don't understand but desperately need. One's destiny is fulfilled when a correct answer is accomplished. Wait, this is a riddle, not a curse.
You found it! Solving the riddle will break the curse, silly! But the prince has already checked all his riddles and answer books and tried all kinds of magic spells. Nothing. See, if the ink disappears completely, then we're all cursed forever.
That's why it's hard to read.
Every year. So, do you know the answer?
Well, I just need more time, you know, to narrow down my options. I can do this, no problem.
Where is it?
The prince bellowed, his voice echoing throughout the castle. Sweetenabelle gulped, and Sparkle stood motionless. Moments later, the beast appeared in a flash of light and a resounding boom.
You took it! I asked you to stay away from the West Wing, and you went there anyway? You interrupted my private thoughts!
Sparkle shot a glance to Sweetenabelle, who smiled apologetically, before hiding behind Sparkle's hoof.
Well, how am I supposed to break your curse unless I know what the scroll said?
You could have asked.
That's a fair point.
You didn't think ahead. Do you even want me to break this curse? You seem mighty
No, I don't
content
think
to be
he
depressed
does.
And mope around your castle feeling sorry for yourself.
I didn't tell you you had to break it. If you don't want to be here, then why don't you just go?
Maybe I will.
Fine.
Fine.
Sparkle's face was red from anger and embarrassment as she stomped her way towards the castle door. The objects protested, hopping along beside her, pleading for her to stay.
If he doesn't want me here, then I won't stay.
Sparkle said angrily. She pulled open the door and stormed outside. She had only taken a single step outdoors when the clouds overhead began to multiply and darken. Thunder and lightning were quick to follow, though there was no hint of rain. From somewhere in the distance, there could be heard a dark and sinister
Okay, and now we actually
It
do have
soon
Sombra.
multiplied into 3 distinct voices.
And Chrysalis,
Sparkle
and...
panicked and ran from the castle toward the front gates.
Was that
She
Turek,
was
or...?
thwarted, however, by large dark crystals that sprung from the ground, blocking her exit. Sparkle quickly changed directions and fanned out her wings to fly over the wall instead. As she did so, the unmistakable buzz of hundreds of wings approached from the other side.
Changelings!
She squeaked in surprise and ran in a new direction, finding it difficult to see anything when a thick black fog encompassed her.
Help!
She screamed, thrashing about in the darkness, her mind echoing with the unhinged laughter of the villains closing in.
I can't see! They're coming!
Sparkle's screams were cut short when she felt a mighty footstep shake the earth.
Yeah,
Even in the
that's
thick black
Turek.
fog, she could see a circle of magical energy formed between 2 massive horns. Sparkle could see the prince standing atop the tallest castle tower. He was reared up on his hind legs, and his horn let out a blinding blast of light that pierced the darkness, threatening to encompass his castle. The 3 villain voices screamed in anger and agony as the prince's magic laid waste to them.
Oh, did he just kill his own father?
Are you saying that King Sombra, Queen Chrysalis, and Turek were all attacking the castle at the same time?
That's what it says, yes.
But why? Are we supposed to
Yeah,
believe that they'll
good
all
question.
just get along? Wouldn't it make more sense for Turek to steal their power? Or Sombra to turn them into mind slaves? Or...
This is what happens in terrible fanfictions, Pinkie. Inexplicable boss battles with familiar villains easily defeated by overpowered OC characters.
So he's attracting all of the terrible fanfiction tropes like some kind of giant cringe magnet? We have to get rid of him before Pinkie Tales are doomed forever. I know just what to do.
All right then. Sparkle stood in shocked silence, witnessing the might of the prince's power. Once he
Wow.
had finished, he shot her an apologetic smile and disappeared from the tower momentarily to reappear in front of her.
Are you all right?
I'm fine. What was all that?
Sometimes myself and my castle is put in incredible danger by outside dark forces, and I have to keep them at bay.
Of course.
Don't worry. They've never beaten me before. I'll make sure you're safe.
But why? What could they want?
They want me to turn to the dark side.
Thank you for saving my life.
Sparkle said, conceding to the fact that without the prince's help, she surely would have met her doom.
You're welcome. It's not safe for you to travel right now. It's best if you storm off tomorrow when the daylight's on your side.
Sparkle smiled and nodded in agreement. following the prince back inside the castle.
Dash Tom looking like a better option yet.
Sparkle
Twilight.
found that her determination to break the curse
Or Sparkle.
greatly outweighed her desire to leave the castle. The prince was overjoyed to learn that she wanted to stay, and decided to assist her search rather than brood in his tower. The castle objects were all abuzz to see the two getting along, and each hoped the connection they were forming would bring them one step closer to breaking the curse. Minutes turned to hours, hours into days, and soon a week had gone by of fervent study together. Sparkle and the prince rarely left the library and each other's side. The prince quickly learned to accommodate Sparkle's tendency to work too hard by having his staff bring them meals and blankets at night when the studying poured into the cold early hours of the day. They talked, they laughed, they organized, and they made checklist after checklist to make sure
Those
they didn't miss
wings.
a single detail, sharing ideas
They're
and clues
amazing.
with each other while keeping the end goal in sight. However, 1
So
week of study
majestic.
was the prince's limit, and he desired instead to do something else with Sparkle. He gathered the castle staff and enlisted their assistance
It's a
to create
pretty
a
small
grand
staff.
party. He wanted to thank Sparkle for her hard work and provide every pony a break from their toiling. Of course, the objects delighted at the opportunity to throw a party, none more so than Flame Witch, who took it upon himself to plan the celebration. Rarity Pot whisked Sparkle away from the library to go
That
and
name
meet
still
another
makes me
castle
laugh.
object that would help to make her ready in time for the evening's festivities. Sparkle was a little uncomfortable with the idea, as she had never attended a party before and didn't want to disappoint the prince or his castle objects.
She'll need to look divine, darling. I told her that only you could pull off such a feat.
But of course,
Okay.
everybody knows that the great and powerful Tresser has the most fashion-forward designs for any mare.
Why not?
Even one as egghead as this one.
Why does every pony call me that? What does it even mean?
I'm a wardrobe, not a dictionary.
Yeah.
You just look like one, that's all.
That's all well and fine, but we simply must not waste any time. Have you found a dress for our guest?
How about this one? I heard it was only worn once.
The Tresser giggled slyly,
Tresser.
holding out a gown that was anything but appealing.
Oh my, that'll never do. It looks as if a bunch of mice sewed it together on a time crunch. No, we need something that accentuates her smile, shows off the brilliance of her wings.
I don't think I have anything that would make her look good.
Perhaps I misspoke then. Perhaps you are not the greatest wardrobe in the castle. Come, Sparkle, we will visit another room, and perhaps we will find something for you there.
Wait, I just found something. Yes, have a look.
It's beautiful! Try it on, Sparkle.
Are you sure I need this? Why can't I just wear my regular clothes?
Regular what? How could you ever think to attend a gala without wearing a gorgeous gown?
Because she's an egghead.
All right, I'll give it a try. But without my magic, it might take some time to get this on right.
Oh, you don't have to worry about that. Come see.
Tresser said, beckoning Sparkle closer. Sparkle took the bait and approached Tresser. Moments later, she was sucked inside the wardrobe and the doors shut, locking her in. Her screams of protest matched the strange sounds coming from within. Before a minute had passed, the great and powerful Tresser spat Sparkle back out fully dressed and ready for the party.
Ugh, now I smell like musty old bugs. Ugh.
You look exquisite!
Rarity Pot said, showing Sparkle a reflection of herself in a nearby mirror. Sparkle did indeed look ravishing in her gown. It was accentuated with pieces of jewellery and a stylized mane to match.
You've really outdone yourself, great and powerful Tresser.
Naturally, I am the best.
Ahem.
A voice called from the other side of the door.
The prince would like to inform the young filly that the celebration can now begin.
Sparkle opened the door to see a hollowed suit of pony armor standing at
Of
attention
course.
on the other side.
Oh, you look rather beautiful tonight, Miss Sparkle.
Oh, thank you.
Flash armor.
Flash replied,
Why?
the metal helmet's cheeks turning a bright crimson.
Your prince awaits, darling.
Rarity Pot said, delighted, then turned to Flash Armor.
Why don't you go guard the magic mirrors,
Of course, right away.
Flash said, slightly defeated.
Gotta be careful around the armor.
We gonna take this in a flashlight route now? Seriously?
Well, lang language.
I mean, it's better than that thing with Twilight,
Holding
but
up the party.
Sparkle
Oh, that's
followed
cute.
Rare Teapot and
It's a
Sweet
cute
Bell
art
toward
style.
the grand dining hall, a room that she had never seen before. The hall was extravagantly lit with numerous chandeliers and candlesticks that vaguely reminded Sparkle of Flame Witch. There was a long table filled to the brim with party food, including a massive 100-layer cake. The adjoining ballroom had streamers hanging from every pillar, and wherever she looked there were sure to be dozens upon dozens of balloons. The prince waited for Sparkle at the end of the staircase, wearing a brightly coloured suit that matched the theme of the party. Sparkle blushed profusely, having completely overdressed for the occasion. She wondered if that was the great and powerful Tressa's intention, as she didn't seem particularly fond of Sparkle.
You look lovely,
said the prince, pulling out her chair at the dining table.
And you look... this whole place looks... bright and festive?
I think the word you're looking for
is fun!
Flame Witch said, bursting out of the cake along with the other castle objects in a sea of confetti. Sparkle and the prince were soon up to their flanks in pieces of paper and the remnants of the food that had once been on the table.
What? You? Oh, this place is a mess!
But what's a party without a big surprise?
Flame Witch said, scooping up a chunk of frosting and eating it in one bite.
Cheese flavored.
Of course.
I'll go get Apple Broom.
Apple
okay.
Broom?
I
I want to
really
see Apple
that
Broom.
hungry for cake.
It's amazing.
Sparkle said, brushing the frosting and confetti
And another
from
amazing
her
one.
How about a dance?
I would love to.
Come on, show us Apple Bloom as a broom.
She and the prince waded out of the chaos to the ballroom, where an expectant vinyl record was ready and waiting.
Hit it!
You don't have to tell me twice.
The entire room
Nice.
seemed to jump at the beat, including the prince and Sparkle. The pair of them laughed, dancing out the rhythm together, flailing their hooves about in all directions.
There! A beast! We have to catch it before it ruins other stories! What?
Okay.
Don't you see it? The abomination on the dance floor? Which one?
Unable to get Dashton's attention, Pinkie made her way towards
So
the
Pinkie is
grandfather
just
lifted
in the
her
story now.
record.
There! Now if you would be so kind, get this thing out of my story!
Dashton?
Who are these ponies?
Look, Dashton, it's just like I said. A beast has stolen your mare and was dancing with her. Kind of. What are you gonna do about that?
Why, come join the party, of course! There's enough cheese confetti cake for every pony.
Does that mean I can come to the
There
party?
we go.
Nope, not you, Apple Broom. You get back to work.
But Dashy! Dashton! Don't you want to defend your mare friend?
Best part of this.
Mare friend, please. She was barely even my friend.
Friend? But I don't have any.
Sparkle started, then paused. The answer hit her so directly that she felt foolish for not seeing it sooner.
That's it! The way to break the curse!
She ran towards the library where the enchanted scroll had been waiting. The prince, the castle objects, and the pony intruders followed after.
Oh, alright then. I'll just chill here and not get to see what's so exciting. Yeah, that's fair.
Sparkle reached the scroll and carefully unfurled it, scanning the riddle as a big smile grew on her face.
It's gonna be friendship.
What costs nothing, but is worth everything. Weighs nothing.
I
but
thought
can
that might
last
be the
a
case,
lifetime.
but
That one pony can't own, but two ponies can share. Something you don't understand but desperately need.
could also be
One's
love
destiny is
or
filled when
other
the correct answer
things.
is accomplished. That has to be it. Friendship. Before I came to the castle, you only had your staff around you. Ponies that would do anything for you regardless of how they felt. You didn't have a real friend, did you?
I guess not. I never called any of my staff my friend. I always thought I was too likable and perfect to be a good friend.
And that's the thing. The scroll said the answer had to be accomplished. That meant that you couldn't just know the answer. You had to experience it too. We've had the means to break this curse all along.
You want to be my friend?
Do you really?
I already am your friend. And you're mine too.
Once the words had
Are
left
you
her
sure
mouth,
about
the
this?
entire castle began to glow. Magical waves of light struck each castle object at once, engulfing them until it was too bright to see them at all. When they reappeared moments later,
What about
their
Apple
true
Bloom?
pony forms had been restored, and Sparkle could see them all as they truly were for the very first time.
You did it! You broke the curse!
Oh, sweetie, you're adorable.
Now that feels a mite better.
Appleclock said, bucking her hooves in the air, rejoicing.
Hang on to your flanks, every pony. This light show isn't over yet.
Flame Witch said, lounging in a chair with shades over his eyes, pointing his hoof at the prince. All eyes turned to the prince in confusion as the magic began engulfing him as well.
But I thought he said he was only cursed not to leave the
Yeah,
castle.
he did say that.
It was a curse.
Just as with the castle staff, the magical light grew too blinding to watch, and a final burst was heard before the prince emerged. His appearance had changed after all. He was without all the excess magic and vibrato he had grown accustomed to hiding behind. Instead, he became a proud and confident prince with actual characterization and personality. However, it wasn't a pony that stood before them now, but instead a much smaller creature.
Okay.
A baby dragon.
Why not?
Excuse me? Spike, this whole time, the prince was Spike?
I didn't think you'd want to get to know the real me if you saw me for who I am. But now that I know you're my friend, Sparkle, Wait, where'd the story go? Guys? Guys?
No pony likes you, Spike.
The end.
I like Spike.
That explains a lot. Hey, don't blame me. I tried to get him out of the story a long time ago. You're not gonna let me off the hook for reading you a Spike story, are you? I know. How about we read The Little Mermaid again? Yay!
Yeah, that one was pretty good. Though this one was also pretty good, but in a different way. Oh, Scooter Tricks! Cool! Didn't recognize his voice. And you know whacking, yeah. What was the point of Flash Armor? Just... I guess to sort of just play off of how Flash is just so pointless and doesn't really actually do anything. Rare Rapunzel! Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Can't wait for that one. So yeah, that was fun. Definitely enjoyed that. Though it was weird. It was a very different feeling one of these. Probably because it took, I think, more departures from the original story than any of the other ones. It really seemed to go in a completely different direction. I mean, at first it was setting it up fairly standardly. I mean, sure, Twilight was an alicorn at the start, which felt kind of weird for the Beauty and the Beast story. But, yeah, for the most part, Dashton and all that, it felt like I would expect. But then when we got to the Beast, everything sort of just really seemed weird. And it's because of the whole core conceit here of just targeting and just lampooning the whole idea of these terrible, awful pony OCs that are in the fandom. And I love humor at the expense of that, because for a while, like when I was first getting into it, until actually like just a couple years ago, I was part of a team for a role-playing website who reviewed OCs and approved them for use in the game. And I encountered through that time a lot of questionable pony OCs, and this kind of stuff always reminds me of that. You really do see like broken horns and weird wings. I don't think I ever saw like rainbow colored wings, but you do see weird, like oversized or strange wings and like weird stripes on the ponies and just all sorts of stuff. And whenever you have something like this show up in a video, it just reminds me of all that stuff and how it's real and how it is a problem. And just how much we all used to make fun of it. And that was fun because of that, and just also because it's funny. I also love how we got Scooter Tricks to voice that character. I like seeing that. I like seeing Scooter Tricks be involved in a project like that, especially since, I found and started reacting to his videos when his channel was still quite small. So it's nice seeing him in something like this. And there were some weird things. I don't really get why Flash had to be in the story. That just got me concerned that maybe we were gonna pull in a last-minute love interest and have it be Flash, and like, who wants that? But that didn't happen, and instead we just got a weird ending that really just had some Spike bashing. But do people really hate Spike anymore? I don't think that's as much a thing anymore. But that was a weird note to end on. It was all pretty weird. I do really like what was done with the whole household items vinyl. It's good to have No Whacking in here. She's not been in one of these before, and it was definitely just good to have her. I love that voice, and her vinyl is best vinyl. Rarity Pot was amazing, and Sweetener Bell, those were just perfect puns, and so was Apple Broom. Seriously, best part, just because of how brief it was, how just I didn't think they were going to actually show her, and then they showed her, and it was glorious. And we got Trixie as the dresser, and Applejack, I guess that's the clock, and she didn't really even need to be in the story. There was nothing really done with that character. And I don't think the cheese sandwich one quite worked for me. Mostly because, the voice sounded wrong, just because of the accent. And also, Cheese Sandwich as a character isn't that interesting to me. I don't know. I liked him in his episode, because, I mean, it's Weird Al and all that, but when you take Weird Al out of it, it's just not as interesting a character to me. And, Dash Ton was as good as you could expect for this, and, Scootaloo. Quite perfect fit for those two, and, It did seem like a rather off Twilight, though I guess, it's playing off how she's probably written in bad OC fanfics, so I guess it makes sense. But yeah, overall this was just a really interesting one of these, and a really different feeling one, but a pretty enjoyable one just because of how weird and just the source of humor that it had with the bad OC character. That was fun. And I did like the whole random battle sequence with Chrysalis and Sombra and Tirek, just because that was so uncalled for and so ridiculous that it was great. And my favorite detail was that one of the villains that appeared was Sombra, who in just a previous scene, or a few scenes ago, the Beast says is his father. So I love how the story just didn't even call any attention to that. And it was it was all just really good, and I definitely enjoyed this one, though I'm very much looking forward to the next one even more, because we're finally getting one starring Rarity, and it's going to be Rapunzel, which is great. I love the pun, and that should be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see what they do with that one. Yeah, hope you liked the commentary, if you did, and see you in the next one.